Hi. Hello.
Hello.
We're here now. And welcome, my children, to episode 167. I'm your dad. 167 of the Game Brew podcast, the bi-weekly video game podcast where we sip delicious bevs and discuss video games. I am your host. I am your mother, Dan
and
Rotz.
father?
No.
Wait.
I am your mother, Daniel Rotz. And I am joined by Kari, Mom, Bowen.
Upside down, it's wow.
Chris Mummy writes,
Imhotep. Imhotep.
We just watched that last night. And Allison Van Dievender.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Well, I see what's happening now.
It's because we call for you all the time.
She would be backhanding that kid.
It's true.
We don't believe in corporal
This podcast is not for children.
This podcast is not for children. We do believe in corporal punishment. But on this episode of the Game Brew podcast, we asked the question, why can't we play as your mom?
Your mom? Or
why can't we play as your mom? But first, it's time for a bev. Oops, I did get it. But now I have it. Chris, what are you beving with tonight?
Getting all over my mustachio. So I'm drinking Hyde by RAR Brewing from Cambridge, Maryland.
Like and cool. Seek?
No, as in Jackal and Hyde.
Jackal?
Jekyll.
Jackal and Hyde?
No, Jekyll.
It's a jackal.
It's Jack.
Don't make fun of how I say things.
I prefer it being a jackal, actually.
That would be. It's just
Dr.
like
Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
It's by day. By day, it's a dog creature, and by night, it's just a guy in a top hat. That's that's Jekyll and Hyde. It's different. Sorry.
Is that the plot to Lady Hawk?
Anyways. Hyde. It's an American IPA from RAR Brewing in Cambridge. It's a weird amalgamation of a bunch of different things, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Just like America. So it kind of has like that. It's like almost like a hazy, and it's almost like a more hoppy. Like it's just kind of in between, and it's kind of cool.
What's it like classified as, though? What do they classify it as?
They classify it as an American IPA.
Just an American IPA.
So,
okay.
Another American IPA is considered, according to craftbeer.com, Stone IPA and Two Hearted Ale from Bell's.
That makes sense.
It's got a really pretty foam on it.
Yeah, it did. It does.
It did.
It's definitely hazy.
Very hazy. I don't know. This is one of the more unique beers I've actually had in a while.
Nice. That's good.
In that I have something to say about it and not just like,
yep,
that's a hazy. No, this is really cool and interesting. I'd actually recommend going out. And if you haven't had anything from RAR, they're kind of near and dear to my heart. I remember going to a craft brewing festival where it was just like two dudes and they did this in their basement and they were like, hey, check out this beer. Was Nana Coke Nectar, which is like their flagship now.
Nice.
And it was just like, that was like, they just brought their beer to a beer festival and then they became like this whole thing. They have like multiple restaurants now. They have.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
They're a pretty big Maryland brewery now. So
that's
pretty cool.
That's RAR Brewing, like the letters, all caps. Rawr.
They also do a lot of like sours and stuff like that. They do a blue milk that's actually blue.
I love blue milk.
Yeah, they have like a lot of sour.
Blue milk?
Blue milk is the blue beverage that Luke drinks.
I know that. Yes, if I didn't know that, my husband would disown me. But sure. I mean, like, what?
what type of? No, but
you asked what it was.
No, come on. You're supposed to know what I'm asking. What is this?
It's just classified as an American sour. Here, I can.
Oh, okay. So
it's like
is still a beer. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not milk.
I don't know if I can post.
That's blue.
Links, but yeah. So I just posted in the chat. Yeah, it's blue. It's kind of cool. It's got the Mandalorian on it, and instead of like so they use the Chessie, which is the Chesapeake version of Nessie.
Oh, I get it. The Chesapeake version of Nessie.
Chessie.
Oh, that's funny. Chris, but you still have to answer the question we're all really thinking about. What is the what's the chuggability level of this beverage?
Less than usual.
Okay. Okay, less than usual. Okay.
Yeah.
But still good in a good way.
Very much so.
In a good way.
Yeah. It's just got a lot of complexity. It's making me think a little bit and question my assumptions about American IPAs.
Right.
Also, it's 6.9%, which is a nice percent to have.
That's a good. Yes, it is. Ooh, well, I'll talk about that in a minute. So Allison is imbibing our favorite liquid this evening.
Second favorite.
Hydro homies.
Hydro homies.
Deer Park in particular right now. So
do you prefer Deer Park of the bottled water brands? What's like
bottled, Dan?
I don't listen.
Everyone here, he said bottled.
Listen, I just want to point out. Let me just say tonight before we go on, I've made like 17 talking mistakes. I can't talk words anymore, and I've decided that doesn't matter. No one. We're all going to say wrong things. Make fun of me about it. Totally fine. We're moving on. Allison, your favorite bottled water. God damn it.
Dasani and Deer Park are the only two bottled waters I actually enjoy. Yeah. Everything else I think tastes a little funny. And I don't know what it is about those in particular. I just feel like anything else doesn't taste like water. It tastes like things in water.
I know exactly what you're saying.
How do you feel? What are your thoughts on like the electrolyte water? What's the one I'm thinking? The like big
gross.
One. The
so
like
gross.
Smart water.
Smart water.
So gross. All gross. Because it tastes like stuff. I don't want my water to taste like stuff. I want my water to taste like water. And for some reason, Dasani and Deer Park just taste normal to me, if you will. And I think it's because I grew up on well water.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's pretty great.
Yeah.
It's really good. And so there's anything else that has like a hint of like chlorination and stuff, like I can't do it all. And for some reason, Deer Park and Dasani are the two that taste most like just well water.
You know, I used to feel the same way about Dasani, but now it's sweet. Like there has a sweetness to it.
Maybe that's
I haven't tried it.
Maybe that's because like Nestle took over, so now it's like they just
I'm pretty sure Dasani is Coke's.
Is that Coke? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, not same thing. Same thing.
Don't buy water that was bottled by Nestle. Just in general, they suck. They're awful.
They are. They're pretty bad.
Now I'm wondering. I'm like, who does bottle this? I guess they're their own brand.
Local. It's probably local spring or something.
It's that deer. It's the deer on the label.
The
deer. He puts on his antlers. He just kind of goes in and he just scoops it.
It's from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Maryland Springs. So
Vern's faucet out in Maryland Springs.
Yeah, they bring me all these bottles. I just keep turning on the water. Comes all going. I bring them out. They pay me 25 cents a bottle. It's pretty cool.
Shit.
That would actually be really good. Kari, I see on here you're drinking hot bean juice.
Hot bean juice.
Hot bean juice.
Mom's second favorite hot bean. Wow.
Who's your first hot bean?
Chocolate.
Got it. Got it.
Yep,
that's a good one.
Bean. Starts life as a bean.
It does start life
but
as a bean.
like most mothers, it is now cold. It is now cold, which is the way most moms end up having to drink their coffee.
That is true.
Yeah. So the chuggability on it is high.
High chuggability. If low, right when you pour it. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
But
you'll hurt yourself.
What's the brand? What's the coffee that you buy?
Oh, this one is actually a Dulce de Leche Texas brand.
Ooh, okay.
Like I think the grocery store brand, like Cafe Olay or something like that.
Nice. Okay.
And then like a little vanilla creamer.
Okay.
Sugar-free creamer. So
very cool. Very cool. So high chuggability. Allison, what was the chuggability on the water?
Oh, the highest chuggability of anything I've ever drank.
That's true. Okay, good. If the water chuggability is low, there's something wrong. Don't drink that water anymore.
470,000 deers sifting my water with their mouth chuggability out of 5.
I don't like to think about that.
Just beer drool.
I'm with it. It's delicious.
So refreshing.
I am drinking because it's getting closer to summertime, and I can. We're continuing Dan's highly drinkable beer tour. We are on to Golden Road Brewing, and I am drinking something I've wanted for a long time: spicy mango cart. Because boy, I love a spicy beer. I love me a beer that is just. It's got a little bit of spicy pepper in it. And gives you like a little bit of heat on the back end. Kind of like seat warmers in your car. I love a little heat on the back end. It's good. It really tastes like it's got mango flavor. Like it does taste like mango, but it has like that little bit of a fire behind it.
What's it called again?
It is called Spicy Mango Cart. It's by Golden Road Brewing. It came in a pack with also Mango Cart, which I have, Guava Cart, which is like a guava wheat ale, which is okay, and the other one is like a salt and lime beer, which is pretty good.
That's a good little mix up there. Whenever I think of Mango Cart, I think of Ian actually, because I remember when he was in California, he had it, and that was the first time I'd ever heard of it.
It's good. Mango Cart is good. It really is. It's a wheat ale. It tastes fruity and delicious.
It is good.
I'm into it.
I like it.
I am into it. Chuggability, pretty high for most of them. It's spicy, so not the highest because it could hurt if you do that. So be careful, but high chuggability.
I do like a spicy beer too.
It's a great hangover cure as well.
Sure.
I was reminded whenever you guys were talking about this, specifically whenever you said 6.9% ABV. This is episode 167 of the Game Brew podcast.
Ooh.
In 2 episodes, we're going to be at episode 169
nice.
of the Game Brew podcast. Hashtag nice.
Hashtag
nice.
100 plus nice.
100 plus nice. So yeah, we're gonna have to figure that out. Yep. What do we do for that one? But now we're gonna talk about games we've been playing. I'll start real quick. First off, Little Kitty, Big City game came on Game Pass. You literally play a cat who accidentally falls out a window, and now you have to try and get back to your apartment. And it's cute. It's like adorable cat exploration adventure game.
Would you call it a cozy game?
Yes. There's not really anything that makes you freak out or anything like that. It's just kind of like you pick stuff up in your mouth, carry it around. It looks really cute. You can collect little hats to wear as a cat. It's pretty cute.
So in the world of cat video exploration games, where is this like on the happier timeline, and then Stray is the sad timeline?
Stray is the sad timeline. This is the happier timeline because you meet a bunch of other animal friends. There's a lot of puns. There's teleportation and like talk of the space-time continuum from a tanuki. You make some crow friends. There's a bunch of doggos that are initially scary, but then they're not so scary. And like you pounce on birds, but you don't kill the birds. You just let them go because that's what the outside cats tell you to do. Because you're an inside cat who gets trapped outside. So you talk to outside cats and they tell you like
they should do a follow-up that's an outside cat getting trapped inside.
Just running off zoomies everywhere.
And just
how many things you can break. Yeah.
And also another Crab's Treasure, which is a rogue. It's a Souls-like game where you are a crab. Your hermit crab. Your shell gets taken by one of those like little dinosaur claw thing or the shark claw things, and then you're on an adventure to go get it. It starts off as like kind of like, oh, this is silly, and then it gets full on like Dark Souls. It's like it's hard, like it's difficult, and you have to like really learn the dodge and block mechanics. There's like magic sort of stuff you can use. Since you're a hermit crab, you pick up different shells that are like different refuse that's been dropped in the ocean. So it could be like a soda can. It could also be a thimble. It could be a shot glass. It could be the F key on a keyboard. I found that was pretty funny. And everything's really quippy and punny. Like it's hilarious while being like difficult. And in the loading screens, they're just like, hey, this game's made to be difficult. So just if you're frustrated, just back off a little bit and then learn some patterns and you'll be okay. It's great. It's not for kids. It looks like it's for kids. It's not for kids. They use terms like, they don't really swear in it, but they just go like, it's like, are you shucking kidding me? And like, what the shell? And anytime they're like, oh crap, oh crab, kind of stuff. So it's really fun. It is hard. It's not easy. But it is still pretty cute and very funny. I would recommend it if you like Souls-like games.
I do. I just like I'm so used to Souls-likes being like so dark and unhappy.
It's dark and unhappy.
But it's so bright.
Yeah, it's not.
Colorful.
Trust me, it's not.
All sense of security, Chris.
Also, sort of related, because related to Souls-like. So I gave my nephew Elden Ring for his birthday, and he just started playing it this weekend, and he it's his first Souls-like, so he's having a little bit of a struggle on it.
It's probably getting.
He was like, does it get easier? And I was like, I'm sorry, no, it does not. And he was like, okay, well, is this like the hardest part? And I'm like,
no,
at the beginning, dude. No,
sorry, buddy.
Sorry, dude. But I was like, but keep with it. I promise it's good.
Allison, what have you been playing as of late?
For me, I've really just been playing Ragnarok, Origin. I haven't really been playing much else. I dabbled in a bit of a game Kari got me last night, like just a little bit. I can't remember the name of it now. Innkeeper?
Enchanted, but you got that for me, not the other way around.
Damn it. I knew it was one or the other. It's hard to tell anymore. We get gifts for each other with games we want to play together, and I can never remember who got what.
I think I saw you playing that while I was leveling up stuff in Call of Duty.
Yeah. I just played it for a minute. Very like Overcooked vibes.
Okay.
But with an enchanted inn. So it was fun for a minute. Like I was just literally scrolling through my list of games trying to find anything to like distract me. You ever get in that mode where it's like it's got to be a game that I don't have to think too much, but it's enough to keep my mind kind of moving. Maybe it's just me. So I couldn't really find any that felt like it might be interesting. So I thought I'd do this one because I hadn't played it before. And it was good, except like I really want to play it on controller. And it says it has controller. Like if you go into the settings, you can flip it to controller. But I just could not get my controller to function with it. So then I ended up getting frustrated and just like sat there not playing it for hours with it open. So I don't know. I can't give a good review yet, but it was fun at first until I got mad at it.
If I will say the quick solution for that is open up Steam in big picture mode, and that usually fixes that problem.
Good call. Okay.
But I don't know why, and also nobody uses big picture mode. But when your controller doesn't connect, that's how you do it.
I mean, I have used big picture mode,
but
I haven't. But now I might, just to see if that fixes it.
See if it works. Maybe that's just
that's worked for me in the past too. I've had that same issue.
My Dan's solution.
Noted. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. You saved me maybe frustration in this game.
That's what we're here for. Advice that some people might follow. Chris.
Yeah.
Wait, Allison, anything else, or is that it? Sorry.
That's really it. There was this kind of like semi big streamer who came from Ragnarok Origins, who streams on Twitch, and they came to our server. So that's kind of news.
That's cool.
We have a bunch of people kind of coming because of that person, but that's it.
That's pretty cool.
Immortal and MGG is their
Immortal
YouTube.
MGG. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So
I'll take a
they
look.
play on our server now.
Nice.
So that's interesting. But that's about it.
Very cool.
Other than that, just normal guild drama. You know how these games go.
Yeah, I do. Those guilds, always drama. This person stole my coins.
Drama llamas.
Llamas. Chris, what have you been playing?
I have been playing a little bit of Apex Legends.
Nice.
I was dragged into it.
By Fee and
by Will and Tyler.
Will and Tyler. Because Fee usually plays with them.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, so I was subbing in for Fee, but they play ranked and I don't.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
I'm not a big enough boy yet for ranked. But we got a couple. I don't know. They're not chicken dinners, so whatever a chicken dinner is in Apex,
I think it's
got a couple of those in unranked, which was fun. And then been playing Fallout 4. I kind of had a hankering after watching the TV show. So
nice.
Yeah,
the show was so good.
It was very good.
It was really good. I can't wait for season 2.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm rewatching it now.
Yeah, I might have to rewatch it. But yeah, playing it's been fun. I haven't played Fallout 4 in a long time, so so a lot of it's still fresh. There's things that I don't recall doing before, so maybe it's new.
That's one of the things when I started replaying it too, and I was like, I don't remember doing this. So I was like, I don't know if it's just the fact that it's an old game and I just forgot, like our last episode. But yeah, but very good, cool, man.
Yeah, man.
Very neat.
Yep. That's what I've been up to.
Nice. And then Kari.
Well, I've been hard into this game called Eco. Which
I've seen you play that a lot.
Is it's got a Minecraft element with like you can build and stuff, but it is a social experiment. Social economical experiment, I would say, is the best way. It just depends on how you want to play it. And there's different servers with different mods as far as like governments and whatnot. But basically, you start off in the world and you have a little stake that you put down and you pick a starting profession. And the server that you're on determines how fast you're going to get your next star to pick another profession path. So like, say you start with logging, and then the next profession path is carpentry. And then after that is, something else. But while you're doing all this, you are building this community with, you can create a settlement. People can join your settlement. You have like government, you do voting. People, it pops up a little window to go vote in a little website. So like you can do elections, you can do votes for laws. Then you set up your little stores and you create, at first it's a bartering system. So you determine, okay, this piece of wood is going to be worth 20 cents for me to harvest. Therefore, you're going to pay me 25 cents for it. And, this person needs wood for this part of their skill set. So I'm going to sell this wood to them and they're going to sell me this. And then eventually you develop you create a mint, and then you create a currency, and then you can create countries and yada, yada. And it just goes from there. Well, this whole while that you're doing this and you're growing in technology, there's a giant meteor coming to take you out. And so our server settings that I've been on, it's 30 days.
Holy
and
crap.
Real days. And so you see this giant meteor that's circling the globe, and it'll pass by you with like a countdown on it. And so you have to like try to build up your tech, work together with everybody else on the server to build like lasers to shoot the meteor out of the sky before it comes and destroys the world.
Holy crap. That's like, I was about to say, it's like, oh, this seems like a really cool, like, sort of, because I'm like looking at the Steam page, I'm like, oh, okay, so it's like it's like literally like an ecological, like, simulation of building a society, from nothing.
And the impact on the environment with building that. So like certain machines create pollution. The pollution pollutes either the air, the land, or the water, which impacts what can grow there or what lives there. It'll kill off a species of animals. So there's like an achievement. I can't remember the name of it, but like if one species of animal is gone, like salmon, whatever, it's not on the earth anymore, you get this little pop-up that says, hey, salmon is now extinct, Extinction
event. Oh no. Wow.
Man.
Right.
This is wild. I'm like looking at this.
It's fun. I'm enjoying it.
I played it for a bit and I enjoyed it a lot while I played it. Actually, I didn't know there was the whole like world destruction Majora's Mask moment.
Because that server didn't have a meteor. That first server, they had turned that off. But every other server I've been on the vanilla servers all have their own meteors. Yeah.
Got it.
Which is cool because there's an end. So you have only so long before the server ends up resetting, and then you start again.
It's not just like a continuous, like, oh, it just goes on forever. It's like, no, there's a cutoff. Like, we all die. That's the end.
Yeah, it's the end, right? That's the end. And so you have these servers that have been running for years. They call them seasons. Seasons is every time they restart the server, but that they've been running, these communities have been running for years and restarting the server every 30 days, or some of them are like long-term where they have the meteor off and then they just reset it whenever the community votes for it. So it's cool. It's a great game. I'm really enjoying it. It's a social experiment because some people come on and they want to just compete, and some people come on and they want to work together. Some people want to be the richest, but the richest doesn't destroy the meteor. So it just depends on how different people play. Yeah,
can't take it with you, folks. Can't take it with you.
And speaking of money. The other game I'm playing is called Final Profit, and I just picked this up because there's something going on Steam right now called Ludonarracon, and it's a
Ludonarracon.
It's a digital festival celebrating narrative games, and so I was looking through it, and I saw this one called Final Profit, and it's interesting because it's not like one I've played before. It's a shopkeeper RPG. And basically you're this fae queen who there's this Bureau of Business that has basically come and said, you have to charge this much for your goods. And she's like, no, that's too much. But the council said, no, we don't go against the Bureau. And so her daughter's like, takes over the kingdom while she goes off to kind of go against the Bureau and figure out, how to kind of take them down. And so you go to these little towns and you meet people and you make, talk to people and get a customer base, and you find out what they want and you put it in the shop and you sell it. But the cool thing about it is it's got a cute little story that goes along with it, but it's kind of, it reminds me of Graveyard Keeper. I don't know if any of y'all have played that one.
Yeah.
But that kind of like comedic, macabre kind of vibe to it. It's got that. So I really like the style of it. And Allison, if you're looking for a chill game, it is a chill game. It's got just enough. And I think it's the vibe that you're looking for. I think you'd really enjoy that one. And there's a free demo for it in case you're not sure.
Free demo. I love
free demo. But yeah, that one piqued my interest from that Ludonarracon.
I will totally have to ask you about that later because that is quite a name and I'll forget it.
Ludo.
But yeah, she's a mom and she's like her daughter's running the kingdom, and her daughter wants to stick with what the business or what the council doesn't want to go against the council, and the mom's like, no, we got to do this.
Wow. So it's a mom game, huh?
Get it, Mom.
She's a mom.
Yeah. It's a mom. Well, that's the perfect way. That's the perfect. Oh, my thing squeaked. That's the perfect. Is
that Godzilla under your desk?
Segue. Yes. Yeah. Little Godzilla. It's kind of like Little Scoops, but different.
No one wants.
Did somebody say Little Scoops?
No. I was hoping the little Godzilla ate the little Scoops. Actually,
I love Godzilla.
Get out of here, Little Scoops! You son of a stupid. Let me just hold on. I'm gonna smack him with the. There we go. Get out of here, Little Scoops. But it's we love moms. Hey guys, guess what?
We love moms.
We love moms. Surprisingly or not, and we love video games. Now you'd be surprised. Sure. You'd be surprised to realize that in a lot of games, you don't get to play as moms, though. Right? Are you surprised? Does that
surprise anyone? I don't think anyone's...
You don't look surprised by it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
None of you look. Where are your surprised faces?
I'm mostly because this is my topic.
I don't think mom's a selling point in the game thing.
Well, not a selling point, probably, but why not? Why aren't moms a selling point? Kari, you're a mom.
Well, why don't we start with name a mom you can play in a video game? Kari's got one, obviously. Does anyone else have one?
I've got one.
That one that you and I played together.
It Takes Two. You talking about that?
Yes. Yeah.
It Takes Two. Yep. There's another one. That
Chris,
was one
you got one?
Fallout 4. You can play as a mom.
You can be the mom. That is true.
See, I haven't played Fallout 4. I didn't know that one. That's interesting.
And
Anna from Overwatch, technically. That was the only one I could think of other than It Takes Two.
I wrote a list down. I did. Yeah, you could see moms you could play as. Now, technically, Cooking Mama. It's never outrightly stated that she's a mom, but it's assumed that she's called Cooking Mama because she's a mom.
She's not cooking hussy or cooking.
Do we assume that like Uncle Ben is an uncle? I mean, I guess.
I mean, yeah. I very much assume that.
Wait, are you talking about the uncle? Wait, are you talking about the rice guy?
Yeah, I'm talking about like product like characters who sell food. I assume she's a mama just because she's selling food.
I thought you were talking about Uncle Ben from Spider-Man, and I was like, yeah, he's Peter Parker's uncle. Of course.
I was thinking of Dude Man, the rice guy.
Yeah, or Aunt Jemima, or all these food related. And you wanna eat food from family, right? That's the idea.
That's true.
It doesn't mean that she's actually a mama. I never saw a child be fed. Just gonna throw it out there.
All right. Well, we've also got now Clementine, not a literal mom, but adoptive mom from the Walking Dead Telltale game. Sonya Blade, actual mom. Eventually, because she is Cassie Blade's mom, who's her kid from her and Johnny Cage. Kangaskhan Khan is a mom. The Pokemon perpetually, always and forever.
Yep, you don't play as it.
Well, you control it.
You could.
Skyrim, you could eventually become a mom again through adoption. Bayonetta because of some timey-wimey bullshit.
Well, so like she becomes like a mother-like figure.
Some of these.
that was actually me.
That was Chris. I was reading on that one.
So yeah, it's like you basically are the mother to yourself. Spoiler alert, it's an old game. But basically there's some timey-wimey bullshit and you become your own mom. It's great.
Well, yeah, but I think like that's like one of the things, like characters are moms in games more often for the sake of a narrative and not the main character than it is like just a this is a character and it happens to be a mother. It's like it's a character you can't play that influences your character's path.
Now, here's the question, Kari. Why? Yeah, I'm going to Kari. Why? Why, Kari?
So I think that mom as a main plot line is not a selling point in the game community.
Okay.
I think this goes back to it's not as much anymore, but the gaming world was dominated by men. And so if you're going to play a character, you're not going to see yourself as mom, you're not going to put yourselves in mom's shoes. It's either going to be a dad or a male character.
I mean, yeah.
Now that's changing. It's, I think a lot more now. We're seeing a lot more thought put into addressing both genders in gaming. But I think in the past, it just hasn't been that way because of money. Greed.
Yeah. Yep. And
a lot market consideration is huge. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the research I was doing when I was looking into this topic, because I did do research. I looked into some stuff this afternoon. Some of the most popular main characters in media and in video games and in movies and in books are young, single, more often than not male lead characters. It's changing now. Young, single, female lead characters are moving up to a more a more popular standpoint. But there's been a large movement for that, but still not a lot of moms, you guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you said, Dan, companies, any company, any for-profit anything, they're going to make their decisions based on the market trends and profitability. And if there's no trend that shows that female characters who aren't just hot action, whatever, if the trends don't show that it's profitable.
Or young and cute.
Yeah, or young and cute. They're not going to gamble on it because they want to make money and they don't want to lose money. And it feels like too much of a gamble to not go with the market trends. Unless there's a perceived demand for games featuring moms as protagonists, they might be less likely to invest times and resources into making them, which I think is interesting because I think about God of War, and I think about the idea of him being a daddy in one of the games and how that flipped that idea in the market so much because that was so successful. And everybody, if they talked about that game, they were talking about him being a good dad.
Right. And that's it. That's an interesting point, because that does bring up kind of the inherent sexism in video games, which is that, a male standpoint in a video game is always more viable than a female standpoint, which is not right. That's a bad viewpoint to have. Yeah. But it, as Kari said before, that's the patriarchal bullshit that we've been dealing with for years and years and years in video games. It's always been this weird, gross boys club that is dumb, and it needs to stop being that. Because
I also, and I think you kind of said something about this before. I think Allison and you as well, Dan. But I mean, you generally, the people that are playing games want to play people that they can see themselves as.
Right.
And if the general population that is playing the game is a
young single
male
or young single females, they want to do the same thing.
They don't have a lot of ways to connect with the character, unfortunately. That is changing now.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. And I think that's, as it should be. But I think that is a lot of it,
Yeah, I mean, for sure, the target audience idea. Targeting that young male gamer, they prefer to play that action type, and I think that's one reason why the God of War kind of snuck in there, because it fit the action role. But what I thought was interesting, and what I think is interesting that it didn't continue in a way of a mother figure as well, that game kind of like, I think it resonated with people whether they were a dad or not, because everyone wants a dad who, like, they want a father figure in their life who is like that. And why not have
badass and like protective?
Protective and caring. Maybe they're harsh, but they've got that smushy underneath, you know? Like,
gooey.
I feel like I feel like that was a lot of the reason that game did so well, was it kind of tapped into that with a big audience. Like, everybody wants to feel that kind of protection. And I feel like a mom could have done that too. And I think it was interesting that never happened. Like, we had some kind of other, not father figures, but like when like the walking simulator Death Stranding, when he had like a baby, I remember everybody was just like, oh, he's a dad, when like they were talking about like they were just trying
Kojima,
to like,
so no.
Yeah. No.
It's different. It's something way weirder. But
but like, you know, like it was kind of like tapping into that at the time, I think, when that was being talked about. But yeah, I just think it's interesting that there's no characters out there like that who were like mom. And yeah, I don't know. I just think it's interesting the more I think about it.
Sims 4.
Sims
Sims don't count.
A lot of the games though, where it's like a possibility.
It's your choice if you're going to be a good mom or you're going to drown the baby in the pool.
It's your choice to be a mom.
It's true.
It's a custom character.
Now I am
like in Fallout 4.
That's one of the things, and I'm gonna circle back to that. I want to circle back to that point a little bit later. But the first thing I want to do is, because we do have moms in video games. We have had a previous topic where we did talk about our favorite moms in video games. Now I just want to point out some of the things about these moms in video games. Allison brought up God of War, which is interesting because in God of War, the main character Kratos, who you play, is very protective of his son. Not initially, or at least you're kind of like, oh, he doesn't really care that much, but then you end up kind of finding out he does, which is an interesting antithesis, because the other character Freya in the game, hashtag spoiler alert for God of War if you haven't played it.
It's an 8-year-old game. It's okay.
And also, if you don't know anything about Norse mythology, one of the big bad guys in it is Baldur, and Baldur is Freya's kid, and Freya is also very protective of Baldur. However, she's cast in a sort of ancillary helper role, and then eventually sort of an antagonistic role. Not in like boss battle form, but more so in a sort of narrative standpoint. And then this continues more so into God of War 2. Again, hashtag spoiler alert. There are mothers in video games, and they have kind of I went through, again, I looked at the research, I looked at all the stuff, I looked at all these things. The way that moms are framed in video games is often in a sort of, they're often left behind, aka like your mom in Pokemon. Your mom in Earthbound, your mom in basically any RPG, Final Fantasies.
Sorry.
Earthbound's behind me.
Right. Earthbound. She's kind of always there in Earthbound. That's a little bit different, but which is, they use that in video games.
What's the name of that game in Japan?
Mother. That's why it's my background. Yeah. See what I did there? Okay, sorry. Continue. I had
it's used as an allegory for abandoning childhood and going off and being more of appealing to the young growing up sort of audience. They're also a victim. They're either kidnapped or in trouble of some kind or beaten up, and you have to save them. Ironically, one of the biggest ones is that they're either evil or antagonistic in some way. We can blame Disney for that. Disney hates moms.
I don't know what
stepmoms.
You're true. They just kill all of the real moms. All the stepmoms are still there.
Yes.
Well, I mean, like,
it's wild that's a trip.
It's so interesting because, like you said, like, moms in video games are side characters and have certain roles to the plot more than anything. Like, they never mention a mom in a video game if you're not meant to feel something immediately and easily. Like, it's really a quick, like, conflict, tension, character motivation, trauma. Like it's
Trauma.
It's meant to be like very quick stamps so you can understand why the characters blank. But like it's just like it's almost that moms are one of two things, and they're both tropes in games. And that is it. They're either the perfect mother or they are the worst mother that's ever existed. There's like no in between. No one's a normal mom. Like,
or like the best kind of mom.
Yeah. It's like, and I think it's easy because everybody quickly can assume what a mother is in their head, assume what it should be, and then decide very quickly the situation and how they feel about it. But like, I think it's doing a disservice, and I hope things change, and it won't. But that's why this topic was interesting to me. I think it's a disservice to think that moms are just two things and that they can't be the main character and also a hero just because. Like I'm not asking for a game.
Mom Simulator is not the game we're asking for.
I'm not asking for Mom Simulator. I'm not asking for a Death Stranding baby backpack where we're going out and we're fighting with a child strapped to us. I'm not asking for any of that. Although I think it's interesting if you have a character like Aloy, not Aloy exactly, but like a character like Aloy who starts the game with a family, and that's like home base, and you go back to it because not only are you like going through this adventure, but you have a family that you have to think about during the game.
Then I feel like the criticism, well, she's a bad mother because she's not taking care of her. You know what I mean? Like
that is taking care of her family though in that kind of situation potentially. Like,
I mean, yes, but I can see like
right
where people would say that.
Sure, but in those environments, like there could be interesting storylines where it's like a village is raising the children. You know, a village raises all the children because they have to provide, they have to protect, they have to have these warriors, male, female, it doesn't matter. Like I think
why can't the dad be the one raising?
Nobody said the dad had to be dead.
Sure.
So, like,
and the mom's
I'm just
battling the monsters.
I was playing little devil's
advocate. But sure, if we just like throw every like, well, we're gonna have this kind of negative comment, does that mean we shouldn't even try it?
No,
because there's always going to be negativity towards anything that's female related in video games. It's the norm, and hopefully that's getting squashed more and more the more we make it the norm. The more we make a mom or a strong female lead a normal thing in a video game.
Right, exactly, because the more that happens, the less there are those stereotypes of either good or bad.
Sure.
And people will stop trying to say, oh, this is a bad mom because she said the word shit, like, or whatever, like these, like,
she's a bad mom because her hair is blue.
I want instead I want them to be like, she's one bad mother. Shut your mouth.
Right, like I think it would be interesting, and I think there's a lot to do there. Or like you're playing a character and maybe you don't even find out they're a mom until like halfway through. Ooh. And that's interesting, but it didn't have anything to do even necessarily with the character itself. It's just a part of her. You don't have to be like mom-minded game. Just like it could be a part of these characters, and I don't know why it doesn't exist.
Interesting. That's a good point. There is a game called Returnal on the PS5. If you have played it, or if you have not played it, you should go play it. It's great. It's a roguelite. It's a roguelike third-person shooter where you play a character named Celine, she is a mom, and it's brought up in the story, but she's also a space explorer. So it's very much like her kid and her family are back on Earth. She's exploring this planet, and then she accidentally gets stuck in a time loop, and she dies over and over again in this time loop, and that's why it's a thing. But
sounds awful.
Yeah, it's terrible. And then she has to relive a lot of trauma because, boy, and there's a lot of story stuff that comes back to it. But that's very much like what you're talking about, where it's like it's part of it, but it's not the main thing. I want to go back to what Chris was talking about because Chris just started Fallout 4 from the beginning.
I did.
There's two options. In the beginning of Fallout 4, you can either choose to be like there's this sort of nuclear family puns where it's just a dad, a mom, a baby, and a robot. And then
which is the typical
typical
family in the United States.
Sitcom family, right.
Sitcom nuclear family. You get to choose dad or mom. Like you get to choose those between those two characters. At some point, spoilers again for this game.
I'll plug my ears.
It's 9 years old.
I suddenly want to play this, so it's okay. Go. Just tell me when I can put it back on.
Okay. So in Fallout 4, in the beginning, the bombs go off. You're frozen in a cryogenic tube. That's the experiment that this vault is doing on people, is freezing them in tubes and then seeing if they can reacclimate once they come back.
Spoiler alert, they can.
They can. Bandits break in, steal the baby from either the mother or the father, depending on who you're playing, and then they shoot that person, and then they leave. And then you wake up and you're like, Sean! For the rest of the game, you're just yelling Sean anytime you go anywhere. So, all right, Allison, you can put your headphones back on. But this search for your child is either done by the mother or the father. Arguably, probably the majority of people pick a male protagonist in this game who's searching for their son. In my personal opinion, because as I'm thinking about it, because whenever I make a character, I always make a character that looks like me, right? I'm always just like, yeah, it's Dan, it's future Dan, it's fantasy Dan, it's Dan, and just whatever world it is, because that's how I put myself into it. I'm thinking about, though, it's a little bit heavier, it's a little bit more hard-hitting to me if it's a mother searching for their child versus a father searching for their child in this thing. I don't know if that's just my personal narrative. Dan. Probably, but like in a narrative form, because there is I don't know if this is science, but what I find is that I feel there is a stronger bond between a mother and child than a father and child, just because of the amount of time that, it grows, like you grew inside your mom. So I think that develops a deeper bond, and I think that is a little bit more hard hitting in my opinion. So I don't know if you would agree with that or not, but that's my idea.
I think I know where you're coming from, and I think it's one of those things, because it's like rooted in like cultural, biological kind of ideas, and especially because you're a dude and you wouldn't like have ever carried a child. I guess you don't have a point of reference except those cultural, biological norms and ideas. I think like there's a special bond between a mother and a child and a father and a child, and even like someone who didn't bear a child but has been there their whole life, or things like that. I think the bonds are all important and emotional in their own ways. And it's not that maybe one is stronger than another, but I understand the idea in your head making that narrative, so then the story's different for you because of that. So I don't think you're wrong. I think it's your perception of that story, which makes sense to me. But for me, no, like it all kind of is the same thing, which I guess is why it's so strange to me. The father trope kind of like rose and the mother trope was never there, because they really are the same story, just from different perspectives, as far as one's a dude, one's a chick to me.
Hey, you know what? I've had a child, so I can answer from experience.
Kari, please.
And I agree 100% with what Allison said.
Oh, okay.
It is really like, yes, you have the child growing inside of you, and there could be that, special bond, but really it's the emotion from the beginning that you put into your child. So it could be just as strong a connection for a father to have with their child as a mother. It's not that gestation process. I don't feel like it makes you any closer than what a father could be with a child. I really don't.
Okay. Chris, do you have thoughts? Do you also disagree with me?
Let's all disagree.
No, I actually kind of I see what you're saying.
No, and that's
because,
why I say I get it.
Because in a way, like, yeah, I see I kind of see what you're saying.
It's okay. You don't have to agree with me.
Until you have a kid, I don't think you'd fully understand that.
I agree with that completely. I don't know I don't know. I have a dog, and that's about the closest thing to which is
what
not
I
even
thought
close.
before kids about attachment to children and what I thought after having a kid completely changed.
Yeah, like and like from a scientific stance, to defend you guys again, I don't think there's a difference, but to defend you guys, I know where you're coming from, because like there's like this biological factor.
Well, it's ingrained
in
you. That's taught to you.
Right, because mothers experience like a hormonal change. They increase the oxytocin, which is like the love hormone, and those kinds of things that are like bonding maternal behaviors while they're carrying the child. Like the science of it, because I'm a nerd, I get where you're coming from, and I know like what these ideas are rooted in. And like just society saying that they should be the primary caregiver role in a lot of emotional and
in my household it's different. My husband is actually the nurturer. He is the nurturer in the family, and I'm more of the disciplinarian.
Yep. And that's like the societal like trope, right? Is a lot of those things that it's rooted in. And like cultural representations in media. And so like I get where you guys were trained to believe that, and I understand why it makes the story different, because that's how the stories have been told in the past. So yeah, that's an interesting point, and I'm so glad you made it.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. Mm-hmm. Then I do want to, because we're getting kind of close to the end here, I do want to ask, do the sort of like a question that I want each of your responses on, but like the question is phrased as such: is do you think, it's kind of to sum up, I believe we all think there should be moms in more video games. What in what capacity do you think that should be? Like, in how in the future should it be illustrated?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, who do you want to?
Whoever was it, because Allison, you already kind of yeah, but just put a button on it.
Yeah. So I figured I could go first because I kind of already had this in my head. So for me, I just think being a motherhood, it's a part of real people, and it's a part of real characters. And I can tell you right now, I'm playing Ragnarok, right? I'm playing with so many moms in this game. So many moms. Cool. Like our guild has the most female players of our server, for sure. And a lot of them are mothers who like this game because it's easy for them to like jump in and out of, right? And that kind of was one of the reasons I thought of this topic. I mean, obviously it's Mother's Day, so I was trying to think of something we haven't talked about yet. But I thought that was interesting. I'm like, wow, like these people playing this game right now are playing an MMO that's easy to grab and like play in. And wouldn't it be interesting if they had options that kind of resonated with them more? And again, I don't think it needs to be a mother simulator 2024. Right. Like that's not what I'm asking for. It doesn't have to be a game. It could be a game that the children are really really important to the whole narrative from start to finish. Those games could be interesting too, but it doesn't have to be. It could just be like this badass character that you're going to play as, who happens to be a mom, and that is part of her defining character that they bring up and is important. It could be that like you play this character the whole time, and it's like a Link situation where they don't talk, they don't really input themselves at all, and then at the end of the game they go home to their family, and you're just like, wouldn't that be interesting? I think that would be like interesting because it just doesn't happen. Like I think those characters can exist in just a really natural way that doesn't feel forced. I don't want it to be forced. It's going to be so like pissy if they finally do it and it's awkward and forced, so it doesn't work. Like these gaming companies just need to get like these things in their head that these things can exist and be okay, and their games will sell. People will buy God of War because he's a dad. Like people would buy an Alloy game if she was a mom. Like just make it a part of a character for once. I don't know. There's where I'm at.
Next, who wants to go next? Raise your hand.
Sure, I'll go.
Kari, go.
I would love
that almost
to
sounded
see.
Like, I just want to say, anytime I say Kari, go, it sounds like Kari Gold, and I always think of butter. That's it. That's the whole thing. Go ahead, Kari.
Yum,
Kari,
Irish
go.
butter.
That's delicious butter. You should be on it.
I would love to see a mother-kid co-op type game. Where you play as a mother, and not necessarily a little kid. You could even have like a teenager, whatever, but some kind of a co-op buddy kind of game. Maybe like, I don't know, some puzzle solving type game. I don't know what the mother theme of it would be, but you could kind of incorporate that into it, some like life lessons kind of thing, or a compassion kind of thing, or just I don't know, something RPG-ish. But I love strong badass female characters, and I don't want to steal from Allison, but her and I have a lot of very similar feelings. we like a lot of the same kind of things, but I would love a strong badass mother kind of character that's like a warrior chick, that maybe part of the story is her imparting, like there's moments where she goes back to her home to like see her kids and I don't know, train them or whatever, or I don't know, but I think kind of see where I'm going with this. Some kind of a badass mom kind of role.
Kari, if you haven't played it, just side note, not mother son, but like older sister, younger brother, Plague Tale games hits similar notes, but not mother son, but very caregiver, care receiver sort of idea, which is interesting. So, but anyway, that's beside the point. Just because that popped in my head whenever you were saying, it was like, oh, this is the kind of game I'm looking for. But yeah,
I think it would be especially fun to do a co-op one. I would love something that I could co-op play with my kid, where he loves playing. When we play Lego City Undercover, and like he's unlocked everything, he makes me play a little kid, and he plays the dad. So I'm his daughter Lucy. I have to do a little kid voice, and he's the dad, and so we go live in a house, and he drives me around town. And
it takes two, with like, instead of it being the relationship, but being like a mom and a kid. That'd be very cool. Yeah, I
think that's very interesting. That's a very interesting gaming developers who are producers who are watching. If you steal that idea, you have to give Allison and Kari credit.
We'll be paid. Please pay us.
We will be paid.
We will come. We will tell you
$1 million ideas.
Or hundreds of dollars
tens
ideas.
Of dollars ideas.
Tens. I know 10 people who would buy a game for me.
There are literally dozens of us. Chris, what about you? What do you think?
I think that right now, I don't know if there's a I feel like the most mainstream way to do it right now is by doing like the kind of choose your own adventure type of thing, a la Fallout 4. It's I don't know. I think it would be interesting to see like Allison, what you were saying, kind of something that where like it is like in the middle of the game you find out they do have children. Like kind of like a surprise like that. But also it would be kind of weird too, because it would be like, well, why weren't you talking about them before?
I think that's what's interesting. It's like parents are people, and they would exist in these worlds. And like, yeah, the kids might be in their head, but it doesn't mean that's coming out of their mouth 24/7 necessarily if they're on like some kind of adventure they need to be on, and it's not pertinent to the people around them. Like maybe they don't want to say I have children because that's a weakness seen by people.
That's a good point. Yeah. That would be cool to kind of balance things like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's another point. Having kids could be seen as a flaw, as a weakness, something to use against them.
Yeah, like very idea of like a superhero where you can't get to the superhero, so you get to their family. So maybe it's something they don't talk about up front, but it's very important to them. They just can't.
Do you remember the Avengers movie Age of Ultron, where that's Hawkeye's whole it's his whole steez?
Yes.
It's his whole steez. Where he's just like, oh yeah, by the way, I do have a family. I have nobody to talk about it. And then we all forgot because Captain America showed up and ripped a log in half with his bare hands.
Bare hands.
Rawr, Chris Evans.
It's America's ass.
That's America's ass. I agree. I think we even could, even like sort of stepping back from even like an action game sort of like standpoint. Like I do think like sort of a Quantic Dream narrative storytelling the sort of game, because every game I think of with that sort of stuff built into it, it's always like, again, it's like you're young, you're like a teenager, or you're a dad. You're never like a mom character. Like even Heavy Rain, you're searching for your kid, and you're the dad character. You never get to play as like the mom character, which she was going through her own stuff too. Why isn't that a thing? Of course, he's the detective. She's not, but
yeah, blah, she's blah, blah. An important plot in that story, but she's not the main character.
Right. And it's like, we could do that. Like, those are things that we could easily do that could make that really hit pretty hard. And I think that would be a good step forward in that. I just want the more narrative. I want more narrative stuff. I just love narrative games.
Well, you should check out that Ludo Narracon.
I want to check out Ludo. When you said that, I was like, I want to look at this. This seems fun. I'll take a break from playing point and click adventure games.
And
Little Kitty in the City.
Little Kitty in the City.
And animal themed games.
I have played a lot of animal themed games right now. Great. Cool. Well, hey, if you're here or you're listening to the podcast on the podcatchers, wow. I forgot what everything was called. Tell us what you think the best way to utilize moms in gaming is going forward, to put them more in the forefront, because moms deserve everything. Yeah, and you could do that. You can either go into our Discord at bit.ly/discobrew. You can send it to us in an email at thegamebrew@gmail.com. Or you could tell us here while we play games over the next hour, and we'll talk to you about it here. You can listen to the podcast, the past episodes, by going to your favorite podcasting medium and looking up the Game Brew, the Space Game Brew. Yeah, but that's how you do all that stuff. Go into the Discord, talk to us about stuff.
Hang out.
Do it. Sometimes I just go in there and just chill out to see if anybody will hang out with me.
So I'm gonna just like synopsis every soapbox episode we ever have, and I'm just gonna this is just for the gaming industry. Everybody else you can stop listening. Okay, this is literally just for the gaming industry.
Got it. Okay, take out my headphones.
Bye.
So stop being sexist.
Yep.
Include other ethnicities. Thanks, gaming industry. That's
just a bald guy with a cigar. Never.
Give us the representation. Give us gender identities. Give us different sexual orientations. Give us different ages.
We're getting that.
Different body types. We're getting some of it, yeah. But I'm just like stamping on everything we want.
Everybody.
Right? This is for everything. I just want them to hear this part. They can not listen to everything else. And like,
no, they have to listen to everything else too.
Make your games accessible.
Make your games accessible. That's a big one. All of those are big ones, but making games accessible, boy, I love whenever a game's like, hey, here's a giant page full of accessibility settings just in case you need them. And I'm like, yes, please.
I don't need them, but I'm sure there are people that do, and I appreciate that they're there.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's something also that's overlooked. So anyway, do all those things, gaming industry. Make sure you're doing them.
Do it. Yeah, now we're going to go into the plug section. Does anyone have anything to plug?
Yeah.
Chris?
There's a really great Instagram that you should follow called Dogs Pooping in Pretty Places. It's pretty entertaining.
Got it. Sounds lovely.
Dogs pooping in pretty places.
It's shitty and lovely at the same time.
Dogs pooping in pretty places. Go check it out. Tell them Chris sent you.
Places they will never.
That won't matter.
They won't know what that means.
Yeah, they're like, "Who's Chris?" And
Anyone?
I am not currently streaming, but eventually that will start happening again. I have my art room space ready, so it will happen soon. Hopefully.
How many animals are in that room, not including you?
2.
Nice.
2?
No. 3, 5.
5.
Yeah,
I have 3 leopard frogs back there.
Leopard frogs.
Ball python there, and then over here a crested gecko.
Nice.
What about? Didn't you have a bug in there too?
I had
Juantenna.
He passed away.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
He was a mantis. He was a giant Asian mantis. He had 1 antenna, so I called him Juantenna. One-tenna.
Yeah. Oh.
I didn't know that was a pun until just now, and that I cannot believe.
Dan didn't know there was a pun. Wow.
I know. Oh, I'm so upset about I'm mad at myself.
Yeah, he passed away sadly. But I mean, it's a bug. Bugs don't live too long.
They don't live too
can't
long.
get too attached to them.
I'm a little upset and sad.
It's okay.
I'll get another one. It's okay. It'll be fine.
Your feelings are valid, Chris. It's okay to be sad.
I also stream. I swear. So I really tried. I got everything kind of set up, and I went to hit play. I went to hit play on Saturday. And I just couldn't bring myself to do it. And, I'm talking through it with my therapist, Kari, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this because I want to do it. It's just like this weird anxiety I have. So I'm going to stream. I can't this week because this weekend I do have something I've agreed to do on Friday and Saturday. But the next weekend I'm going to hang out with some friends that I haven't we're going to have a slumber party.
Oh my God.
It's going to be great. We're gonna drink, probably watch RuPaul's Drag Race. It's going to be a great time. You guys are invited.
I can't come, but thank you.
Smarty Pants, Dan?
Huh?
What?
Dropout Smarty Pants.
Oh, I love Smarty Pants. Yes.
Did you see that wrestling is drag?
Yeah, wrestling is drag. Yes.
Wrestling is drag.
Wrestling is drag. It's 100% true.
But yeah, so we're gonna have a really good weekend. But
nice.
On that, I won't be streaming next weekend, but I will be streaming the weekend following. So everybody come hang out. Undetermined whether it'll be Friday or Saturday. I will post about it. Thanks. Love you guys. Okay, it's twitch.tv/Finalia. Bye.
Nice. And then for personal me, I'll plug twitch.tv/TubeCrazed. I play Warzone with my brothers every Thursday night. It is officially less than 1 year until the toitest nups that ever shall hup, which is Hannah and myself getting married in April of 2025, which also means that it's Warzone wins for Dan and Hannah's honeymoon fund, which is where the Mongoose Omelet member Dave puts $10 into a pot every time that we win. For a little honeymoon fun. So
can I be included for Apex wins?
No, it can't. There's stipulation
can he pay for whenever I
no, I can't.
Apex wins.
Listen, I don't think so. I really don't think so.
I'll become a pro Apex player. I'll be better than Fee.
I don't know if that's possible. Fee's too good.
Good luck with that.
I was going to say, anytime Allison talks, you can hear the clickety clacky happening in the background of Fee practicing. So,
well, that could be
pretty
him
elite.
Probably, but it doesn't matter. It's 8 p.m., dude. 8
No, that's her. If you hear clickety clacky, that's her.
It's probably my clickety clackety actually when I'm trying to multitask over here for
No, it's Fee. I know it's Fee. I know his clicky clackies when I hear him. But again, that's twitch.tv/tubecrazed. Of course, we already did all of the Game Brew stuff, so follow the Game Brew, listen to the Game Brew. This episode will be out next week. You can listen to the previous episode where it's just it's a Dan and Chris show where we talk about if games that, what was the right amount of time to wait before playing a game before it feels new, and our thoughts on that. You can do that.
It's apparently 9 years for Fallout 4.
9 years for Fallout 4. That's the table. And we are soon approaching our summer, which means that it is almost time for our summer off week series, the Game View podcast. So if you have ideas for movies for the Game View podcast that we should watch, we have our own ideas, but we also want to watch things that you tell us to watch. Let us know in the Discord. Say, hey, you guys should watch.
Oh yeah, the last thing we watched was Werewolves Within. We've done
Werewolves Within.
We've done 13 of those.
We've done 13 Game View podcasts, but there's plenty more video game movies out there. So let us know what you want to watch, and hear us talk about and figure out if they're good video game movies or not. And then we'll start. I don't have an official date on that. It'll probably be in the summer, probably at the end of June is when we'll start doing that, or the middle of June, some point in June. Great. I don't think there's anything else. So with that, we're going to end the podcast the way that we always end the podcast, which is by saying good
Happy
night. Oh, wait.
Allison, come on.
God damn it.
I'm sorry. Okay, let's do it again.
Nope, it's done. It's over. We did it. That's it.